Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. People who are attending this teaching, Lojong teaching from Australia, from Europe, from North America, East Coast, and West Coast. So I would like to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So welcome to the Lojong teaching. So today I will go through the Lojong text continuously. From last time, I will read Tibetan text as well as the English translation, and then also give explanation based on Geshe Ngawang Dorje's commentary. So it is a wonderful commentary, and I'm very pleased we have this commentary here. So now we go to verse 10. I think I left here last time. Okay, verse 10. This is a text, Wheel of Sharp Weapon, by Dhammarakshita, written by famous Indian master Dhammarakshita. Verse 10, when our bodies are aching, wrecked with great torment of dreadful disease, we cannot endure. This is the wheel of sharp weapon, turning full circle upon us from wrongs we have done. Until now, we have injured the bodies of others. Hereafter, let's take on what sickness is there. Tere sholoka juba derwa lula mizu natsa jungwe tse ndowe lula noba jewa yi lengen chonja rana kowa yin tani natsa malu rana lang. So this is very clear in Tibetan, and I will, before I go to the commentary of Geshe Ngawang Dorje, I will give a little bit of sort of introduction by myself. Lulan mizo nasa chung. When we get sick, right, from time to time, and small minor sickness, or sometimes a major sickness, and we go through this kind of thing through our life. This is a part of life. Part of suffering of samsara, what we call suffering birth, suffering of sickness, suffering of old age, suffering of death, and so on and so forth. So everybody go through this, more or less. And some people go through lots of suffering, lots of physical pain, and they have a chronic illness, and since they're a child, or some children are born with a certain kind of sickness or defect, unfortunately. And these days, more and more children are born with the defects and disease because of the environmental problems and food problems. There are lots of food are growing in the soil, which is contaminated and got lots of chemicals. And the pollutions of the water polluted, air is polluted, sky is polluted, so many. That's why people are trying to grow their own food, people are trying to grow and eat organic food. You can see why. So that lula nasa mizu chungwe tsesero. That lula nasa mambu yungu yara kaisen chunjungane mazu dan kola Zambulan de Jevin Jade, Jevedonga, Navedonga, Gavedonga, Chevedonga, Donga Tajini, Kandio. And Kajin Bu Kajin Joe the Lamson Nasa Yoji, nasa yu magic on amekoba magic on nasa yu no nasa yu do and nasa mambo yu the nasa mambo yu go jin the sun the mulin the saja chut long the namkana all as ta saja to kangal to wache then zen ramanda that thing to on ramanda that in the chin chen or the nasa yu yo digala name that and the mambo yu do or the so not only environmental problems, also problems that create environmental problems created by human beings, and the environment itself is land itself originally is pure, right? Good, but we create more problems and environmental problems, and then chemicals and so on and so forth. This is why we get sick, and I don't need to mention this because you all know, and so when we get sick, right? Different kinds of sickness. So what is the cause of this sickness? Why I got sickness, right? And so the Lojong Dharmarakshita said, because it's our karma, and our karma, my own karma, but it's hard to say exactly what kind of karma is. And karma is very complex, so you can't really point the fingers on anything. Buddhas, enlightened ones, right? So, but according to Dharmarakshita, I'm only talking here according to Dharmarakshita, what Dharmarakshita suggests, and so so he's saying that these dreadful disease and are result of our karma, and we have done something wrong in the past, and we harmed other people's lives, and not only people, we harmed animals, we killed animals, slaughtered animals, we used as animals like slaves, horse, donkeys, cows, and so on and so forth. We have done a lot of things, and we still do, right? We are still contributing, right, this very moment. And we are harming animals and other sentient beings. We eat flesh, animals, meat, and seafood and products like that. So somebody kills the animals. And then even if you are vegetarian or vegan, you're still contributing, harming animals. You have to live without harming animals. For example, if you call yourself pure vegan, I'm not against vegan or vegetarian people. I love being vegetarian if I can. And being a Tibetan, Tibetan and Mongol, hard to be a vegetarian. But no excuse, because genetically. But say you're a vegetarian and vegan, you have to think very carefully. Easy to blame somebody or point fingers, because you are growing vegetables, right? You see caterpillars, you can see insects. Then people use insecticides, and you kill them, and they're sentient beings, right? Or you're transporting the vegetables and fruits and so on and so on in a truck. And so how many bugs are killed on your windshield? Or how many animals are squashed on the highways? And, they're animals, right? And so I'm not here criticizing, I'm not debating. You have to be very kind of logical. Some people, I know one person used to say, I'm vegetarian, I'm pure vegetarian, but then she wears leather boots and leather jacket. So where does that leather boots and leather jacket come from? It's come from slaughtering animals. So it's a contradictions, right? We always contradict. Life is contradicting. I contradict myself too. And now I'm not criticizing other people. I'm admitting myself and what we are doing here. So it's a result of harming others. This is why we get sick. So the point here, what shall we do then? That's the point, right? So what shall we do? Can we live here on earth without harming animals or harming anyone? So the point is, most important thing is your intention, motivation. You don't want to harm anybody, including insects. mosquitoes and caterpillars and spiders. I don't want to kill anybody, harm anybody. But accidentally, you kill animals, or due to ignorance, lack of abilities, lack of awareness, lack of mindfulness, we kill animals and insects. So this is how it happens, right? So we buy vegetables, and then somebody killed all these insects, as I mentioned. What can you do? And you have to eat something, right? Or even if you say, I don't buy vegetables, I grow my own vegetables. I start growing my vegetables this summer. Since COVID, I made a beautiful garden. I got too many vegetables. I can't even eat myself. I give it to my friends. So as soon as I start growing the vegetables, I saw caterpillars coming. I saw insects coming, all kinds of insects coming. So I of course, I won't use insecticides. I would like to have organic vegetables. So I let them eat because, well, I can't, as I said, I can't eat everything. So why not share it? So I let the caterpillars, insects eat. Then interesting is what happens, all of a sudden I notice there's a lizard coming. And one of the lizards called skinks. It's a beautiful green color with a bright blue tail. I love those lizards. And the lizard shows up because he wants to eat the insects. So he's helping me in a way, my garden. So let him eat insect. That's part of his life, part of food chain. Okay. So now, as a Dharma practitioner, as a Buddhist, what shall we do then? What is the best thing to do? If you eat food and contributing, killing animals, this is a dilemma, right? So do I just fast, don't eat anything, only drink water, sit like Shakyamuni Buddha, 6 years, don't eat much, and shall I do that? I don't think you can do that. And even if you drink water, there might be bacteria and insects in the water, okay? Or you walk around, you breathe some insect, or you're walking around under your feet, you're squashing some animals, insects in the forest, okay? So it's sort of difficult to really do perfect. And, you can't be, it's hard to be perfect Dharma practitioner and perfect Buddhist. It's almost impossible to be a perfect Buddhist, perfect Dharma practitioner. And I'm not judging other people. I'm just saying this is my point of view. So actually, what is perfect anyway? What is not perfect? Depends on your definition, depends on your, view. And we're not perfect. We're human beings. We are samsaric beings who live in the samsara, right? So what I'm suggesting here is we try not to kill any living beings intentionally. And if you do kill due to our ignorance or accidentally, then we pray for them. Pray for them. And you say, I eat these vegetables and I contribute killing some insects. And what can I do, right? I pray for the animal, insect who died. So then, some way is not bad because you are praying for these insects, animals, right? So you made some karmic connections, okay? We have saying in Dharma, having connection is better than no connections at all, okay? Understand this? It's very important to know. And, let's say you accidentally, for example, did something wrong. And I'll take an example. Okay, example. We have stories in Sutra. It says, if you look at the statue of Buddha by anger, you're not angry with the Buddha, but you're angry with somebody else. You had an argument with somebody, and then you turn around and you look at the Buddha. That moment, you're angry. In your mind is so much anger. You kind of look angry with everybody, right? We're not, but it's sort of emotional, strong emotional, right? If somebody is laughing at you, you get more mad. Even when you're really mad, if dog barking, you get mad at the dog. And if mosquito coming by or insect coming by, you get mad at the insect, right? Because your anger is so strong. So it says that accidentally, if you look at the statue of Buddha by anger, and that is connection. You made a connection with the Buddha. So that connection is better than no connections at all. Okay? And so this is how it is. you're making connections. So you pray for these animals, insects, and so that maybe next life, maybe the insect will become human being and I become insect. He might kill me and eat me. Who knows what happens? You never know karma. But anyway, that's the karma. That's again what we call the wheel of sharp weapon. I should say a few words for my fellow Tibetan friends. So that in the laying embassy in the rota, Simjin Shendagi in Zubo the Lula Nozi Chevra. That Nozi Junior Chair, Mewa, the Nozi Junior Chair, Majiva Tension, Numbling there to a Kawaii, I said, and the Kalasa Yore, and Shasa that Yasha, the Pasha Jasha, and Simji Sesevarwa. That Sham Mezaga, that San Chijala, Mumbudo, vegetarian singing it down, vegan singing in the Mambuda. Konzo in the Simji Lula Nozi Chigres in it. Chegre, Kais and Shamazana, Chejus and Chetangi, then Buddhas, Mambusildo, and made them in the church. They might say any said to the modern Tragna Yama Kidu Lamwala, then Bukas Sidu, or Shigukan, then Busu. Indian collagen is simple and there's a magic colors at his Kabure. In a cage, she did Kununde, so Semnang Sia, some of your Maro, that in each the there's in the child and then all Malaya would jump. All Malaya would jug in any Maumba, the Koraya, the singing simply the Korang, Chola Tini Karsota, Pachas and Amanda Chola Tini, Devayo Yagini, Kokoji, and authenticity, Shui. So I will tell you one story. I think I told this story many times. Some of you might know. So there was one old man. He was very old. He met Buddha Shakyamuni, and he was about in his 90s. And then he was laughing and he was crying at the same time. So Mahananda, disciple of Buddha, said to him, "Why are you crying and laughing at the same time in front of the Buddha? And you should request teachings or blessings." He said, "I feel crying because I'm so old. I didn't meet the Buddha until now. What was my karma? What's wrong with me? Right? That's why I'm crying. At the same time, I'm happy because I met the Buddha, enlightened one. I'm just overwhelmed with joy. So I got these mixed feelings." So then he said, "I want to know what is my karma. Why is that I couldn't meet the Buddha when I was young, when I could do lots of study and meditate? And now I'm finally meeting Buddha. Finally, why?" So he's asking Ananda. I think Ananda or one of the disciples of the Buddha. I don't remember. So this disciple Buddha said, "Why don't you ask the Bhagavan, the enlightened one? Buddha knows everything." And then he forget to you. Bina Jahala Tan Donala Lojit in your making go low Gujuna Levachi. And Thomas Sanji, Dajakomashi, and Jerokra. Jevons and Dako Lojimbo, and his Dakos Galax, Gimosho, Kapgalamudus. Then I moved at that, Sanji jumped in the guitar, because of the chorus to Rota, servants in Amado, Kunga, the Choram wood, moving, Gimogi, Kachirios. Tanga, Gingo Chas, and then Insani, Dajakomashi to Danga Shiga Laganjia, the Shira, Kawasam person, Message Gavundus. Inaya, Tandaba Manjevins and low moment. I simply the Pangudu can change you and Jevin, Church and Yamnichi chair, or die Omar to the Dosarva. Takani and it indicate and then Matu Manjevi Jinkarinas, Koran Samatan. Kungo will shoot. Kungo in a Ramju and a Chilla, Power and Unity, sure. Then you can go in Ramju and Chik, that's around the name as Dajakomashi, Kunji, Sanji, Tamji Chamar, Choran shooted in it, Lake Javanga Malekar and Sungres, Pa, Kalabnari. So he was either Ananda or Mahasubhuti or one Shariputra or maybe Mahamugalayana or I'm not sure. And one of the disciples said, "You should ask Buddha." So then he asked Buddha. He said, "Oh Lord, please tell me what was my past life, karmas." So the Buddha said, "This is a very peculiar and very strange karma, very interesting to even imagine in our mind, right? And especially from reincarnation." So the Buddha said, long time ago, once upon a time, you were reborn as a bug, okay? And not only bug, you're reborn as what they call dung bug, okay? There's certain bug that sit in the dung. cow dung, eat cow dung, live with cow dung. Believe it or not. Okay. Then the Buddha said, then of course the old man cried. The Buddha said, but you're very lucky. Well, unlucky both at the same time. So you're on the dung, and then it's monsoon time. Maybe it was in India somewhere. And there was a big flood, water come down, and the dung is washed. You are hanging yourself onto the dung and trying to save your life. So you're swept away by the current. And then at the end of the valley, there was a stupa, great choten stupa. And then the current took you round and around 3 times, circumambulated, and then swept away, and you're gone. Because accidentally, the current took around the stupa 3 times, you made a connection with the stupa. You received good karma. This is why you finally met me, Bhagavan, Buddha. And the reason why you're so late, because your past life was a dung bug. You never had opportunity to practice Dharma or listen to Dharma teachings and so forth. Wow, this is unbelievable, right? Think about this while I'm talking in Tibetan. Sanji this one, that chora jawa ngama ngama chilutini, bula cheshas, jawa butin Buddha nangazu nyowa gimbuji yorwa. Nangazu kamla de baju nyowa, no bashi poke uke the sangba, sangi tibara nyowa siro, baju nyowa de legala, nyowa sangin buse uchiwa, nyumbusa, or dili jawa langshas. The nation yaga, that chawashu dane, monsoon sira, chawashu dane, cholo jabji. The nyowa de cholo kini, chene. Then we get Lumbe Tadel Chodinji those. Chodin de la Corazundim, and the shooting do Kenny Corazundio. Then the Mama Kenda, called Chetong, saying the Judong Chuloke, Donsar. The Chulo de Chodin de la Corazundia, the Chorana Dakarsota, Devachara. Chodin dinner, Chodin and Sanji good and ring sealers of Dakarina, Jiro, Tindage and Sanjil and Devacharis, the Indian Chora, Tari, as Dajalatom Shajato, the Jinju and Jevaris, or Tindis, Chodin the Tushir Goja, Tigi change it. And it about the Cholo Gujuna Lane, Cho the Manti Jungaris and Jawamacharam Buyas and the Church you had the Church Kokoma Joras, what in this one. I'm good. So it was hard to think about how to imagine for this poor guy, right? And then Buddha said, of course, Buddha is so compassionate. He said, never mind, you should not feel so bad. And you are actually very, very fortunate. And then Buddha's disciples, they all say, yes, you're all Bhagavan. What you said is perfect. You are a fortunate one. Then the Buddha said, okay, I will teach you meditation. I will teach you Dharma, never late. And you don't have to study sutra and this and that. You don't even, and he's probably didn't know how to read and write, maybe cowherd or something, don't know. And Buddha said to him, do you know your body? And he said, yes, sir. Do you know your speech? And he said, yes, sir. Do you know your mind? Sort of. And sorrow. And then the Buddha said, you practice mindfulness of body, mindfulness of mind, mindfulness, speech, cultivate. You go up there, meditate. So very simple. So the old man asked, what is mindfulness? Well, mindfulness means awareness. Meditation is awareness. When we talk about meditation, usually in English word meditation, sometimes people think meditation means you just sit somewhere and do nothing, but that's not meditation. And you could be just spaced out, and that's not meditation. But you have to aware, constantly aware. And so you're aware about your body, speech, and mind. That's Sanji Kalungna. Choran let that, Chucha Yomaris, Kaitan, Choran been a gomjas, and a gomja the lowest. That Choran Zubu Zubu Nizuma, the Zubu, Choran Zubu the Haku US, low Kugus. Choran Kanim Akisha Haku US, 거기에 저랑 샘 시기에서 샘다 가버려 시야면 있는다 샘 something 당겨로 다 되는 저랑 아니 템바니 와셔 보고 루 템바니 와셔 샘 템바니 와셔 아 되네 나 템바니 와셔 숨곰 내라고 곰 되네 샘을 젠데스 곰이 보죠 근데 제가 샘 동화가 갈래 배워 차는 거리스 아니 디과에 다 하는 거리스 가린 저라 메디시 번제에 그때 지나고 있었는데 이건 뭐 다는 거 So he did that meditation. But the other thing is, he was so fortunate because he met Buddha. Imagine, because of the power of the Buddha, and his delusions are almost gone. Imagine, right this moment, I am here, right? You are here. I'm not saying I'm a Buddha. Imagine if I'm sitting in front of the Buddha, I will be totally blissed out, right? In Australia, we say blessed out, might. And I will be blissed out. I will probably overwhelmed. I might become even, what do you call it? I might even faint by the power of the Buddha. So where there is no room in my mind for delusions and confusions. So because of he met Buddha, probably a lot of his delusions are totally wiped out by the power of the Buddha. And then he could get enlightened very fast. So he did meditate it. And then I don't remember the number of days or months. At some point, he said he reached Arahut. Okay, Arahut. Arahut means four destroyer. And he obtained Arahut. So this is incredible. Good luck, good karma. Well, it's not good luck, not luck, but karma, right? That indeed, in Kora Gomja, Sanji Chilava, Tinene, Majikon Lantene, Dajam Komoto, Resundo, Chabinandua, or the Pigeon and Lugit and Dua, or Tindere. That indeed. So now I'm talking about harming the body, right? Harming the body. So, we should not worry too much about that we harmed others due to our ignorance or lack of understanding. And a lot of people here in the West, and you know, when you're growing up as a Westerner, you never met Dharma, and so how do you know which is good karma and bad karma and this and that? And also some people, Westerners, are born as a Dharma child. And I know, see, back in 1970s, 80s, and so you're very fortunate. But even you're born in a Tibetan and Buddhist community, and lots of people don't practice Dharma and they don't really care. And so anyway, don't feel so kind of remorseful or don't do that. Then that's not very healthy. Then so you say, okay, whatever I've done due to ignorance and that I've done in the past, I will purify. At the moment, whatever I'm doing, whatever unwholesome karmas and harming other people's bodies and lives, I like to purify those karmas. I'll do my best. Okay, so that's how you go. And so here, commentary by Geshe Ngaondarje. And when our bodies are aching and weak with the disease, and it is because in the past lives we have beaten or other beings, imprisoned them, and in many ways brought them harm. We should think that the sharp weapon of karma, having harmed others before, has returned to ourselves. So this is the word wheel of sharp weapon, means so that we create a karma now turning around, coming back. The wheel, yes. It's kind of like a weapon, it's very hard. Just as an ordinary weapon deprives us of life, so the sharp weapons of karmic takes away happiness. We should take all sufferings upon ourselves. We should, okay, so then now, Lojong practice, this is Lojong practice, this is Tunglen practice. That Tunglen, so that Tunglen gomyare. And so, Tunglen gomsong duande, Tunglen pajog dungad, simjing dungad, nazo, suyo len, ba upa, I think I told this last time. I won't repeat this one. So why don't we do a little bit of Tonglen practice this moment. So, okay, I would like to ask you, we just do a few minutes. I would like to ask you sit comfortably, sit straight, and relax your body, relax your mind, resting your mind in a natural way, resting your mind in the present moment. Stay with your body, resting mind in a natural way, according Mahamudra tradition. And that Subodha and Tuju Nashu and Tuju Jishu and send the Lana, some not in the Mama Madaje. Devi, then the Euro, some Devi, some mother, Mahoma, the Nepal, some mother. Tanando slowly you relax your body. And then we're going to do Tonglen practice. We got to do Tonglen practice. So now you breathe out through your left nostrils, as it says here by Geshe Ng's commentary. Breathe out through the left nostril. So what you do is actually, it is very helpful. If you close your right nostril like this, then you breathe out through the left nostril. So that time, imagine a white light coming through your left nostril goes out. You are sending your virtues, good karma, your prayer and love and bodhicitta and so on and so forth. You're sending to all sentient beings, especially sentient beings who are suffering in this very moment, and gone to them. And then that white light that you send out from your nostril, it shining on those sentient beings who are suffering. It touched them, touched their bodies, touched their minds, made big difference for them. It made them feel better, feel good. Or that didn't Upa ta kala tene ose kawo jik da do chin chu ose kawo de u da nyam de chimbarwa u da nyam de ose de chine di ose de so so gewe lo da de chanji wu sem de ninje de du pa ta ta ni ose kawo de simje da na ni changi su yina de la po wala tene pena nima shede ka su bona chik to chin jibu yung do wa kang mo ge donga de la sa se do o de na yene ene konzo la bes ka so pendo jong song Korazu dunga de ma chung do some sharing. So here, when you breathe out, the white light goes out, reaching the bodies of these sentient beings who are suffering, and they feel right away, feel better. Just like when the sun is shining on you and on your head, on your face and your body, and you feel, so nice. I feel warm now, feel good. And I was cold this morning. All morning I was cold. Now, finally, sun came. I feel good. I like to sit in the sun for a while. Right? Like that. So imagine, like that. When you send the white light, imagine all these sentient beings feel, so nice. Thank you so much. Feel good. All right? So that's called tung, Tibetan word means giving. Now lempa is, now you close the left nostrils, breathe in through the right nostril. And so when you, breathe in through the right nostril, and inhale the suffering and the pain of these people, these sentient beings, and disease, and inhale as a smoke, like or smoke or dust inhale into you. And then they come inside of you, and then it vanishes. But before it vanishes, what is actually a very helpful thing, it comes into you, and your fear is going, your own selfish mind, self-cherishing is going. It is opponent power for your selfish mind, self-cherishing, right? Because usually we have self-cherishing, self-centered mind. We don't want to get sick. We don't want to get virus, this and that, me, right? So here now you're opening your heart, saying, I don't want to do this way. I like to accept other people's pain and suffering come in. I want to practice genuine bodhicitta. I'm not going to pretend here. I want to do a real thing. And I don't want to pretending kind of what this to some shit. Those now you must cup, no even who are timber. Pajog Dungads and others do ya young Tuada tea, Ubagan ya, you Susan Ingala Young. They young then a carriage ever sent. So now run Jinjin or Mana, you not saying, Nanga say Joro, Tim never chance on some time. Kai sent the Nanga saying huge champion, me Pajog and other than 2000 len two lay a passion is some of Komar. Tarin be Munetane be the Simshu Chimbuchen. That can use some big job. Can use some big Kashota, Jison, Lam Shune, to Janabe Kashota, Simshu Chimbuchen, the Tigi, Chilla Vita, Kanji, Nasa Dea, Nalo Yun, Nasa Senamina, Digotas Uni, and then never chason in Susan Share. So you have to think, today I'm following the path of the Bodhisattva. I am following the footsteps of Bodhisattva. I'm trying to be brave Bodhisattva. I'm not going to worry about. And so I'm going to take in. Then power of my mind, bodhicitta will transform these negativities into light. Yes? But does it work that way? I would say yes. And then again, I breathe out through my left nostrils. And what comes in, it transforms into white light and virtues, and it goes out. Give it to them. It's going around a cycle. Now what happens? This is a wheel of light, wheel of virtues, wheel of merit, wheel of good karma, not wheel of sharp weapon. Okay? This is wonderful wheel. It's a Dharma wheel. And the wheel of 8 spokes. The wheel of 8 spokes is the symbol of Buddhism. 8 wheels are symbol of 8-fold noble path. Okay? It's a Buddhist symbol. Hindu symbol is Om. Christian symbol is the Holy Cross. Yeah, and we have a Dharma wheel, right? So, for example, in the major Buddhist temples in the roof, there's a Dharma wheel with 2 deers on the side. This symbolizes first teaching sermon that Lord Buddha gave in Varanasi in Rishipatna, Sarnath. He was teaching the wheel of Dharma, and then the deers came, and that's why it's called Deer Park. That's what we have. So this is a universal Buddhist tradition. Theravadan Buddhists, Mahayana Buddhists, Tantric Buddhists, we all have Dharma wheel. Church of Korlo. That in the Lojong Choncha Korlo. That is the Choncha Maro. That is the Church of Korlo. And the Mani Korlo, Church of Korlo Boni Yangindis in the Vision and what they do. That's social Diba, the Pajo Diba, and that's a Chule. Any day, we say Kabujila, Paju, then it's also now human in Patan or to Chimba, Gavaduni, Pajo, and Nasatus. You didn't about Donglingo, the Church of Korlo. Oh, yeah. Or the Digbe Kolomari, Lango Kolomari, Chanja Kolomari, or those. We say in Tibetan tradition, we say word Korlo Korning Yangin Day, which means turning the wheel of Dharma, then you reach Nirvana. You listen to the teaching of the Buddha, and you practice the teaching of Buddha, you reach Nirvana. Korlo Korne. Korlo is the wheel. Korne means turning. Wheel of Dharma. And Nyanginde is Nirvana. You reach Nirvana, enlightenment. Okay, but this is wonderful practice. Tunglen. So we do Tunglen practice from time to time. And you do Tonglen practice. And so, Geshe Daji's commentary, I will read a little bit here. Nagarjuna has said that the merit of one's moment thought of bodhicitta cannot be calculated even by the Buddha. So Nagarjuna said, your merit, your virtuous mind is so powerful, so wonderful. The merit is so much. Nobody can even calculate, even the Buddha. Shantideva, who lived in India, 8th century, asked, if people such as fishermen and farmers bear hardship merely to gain their living, why can we not bear hardship for the greater purpose of enlightenment? So generally people go through hardship. We all go through hardship, right? We have to work hard to earn money and pay bills, and everybody has to work hard. We go through hardship. So now, since you are going through hardship, then why not also practice Dharma? Go through hardship. Dharma is not easy to do. And, way much easier to just do worldly stuff and go for a walk, go for a hike, do some activities, recreationals, and this and that. But Dharma practice is not hard, not easy. This is why not so many people these days, unfortunately, not so much interest in Dharma, because people don't want hardship. They think, well, life is already hard, man. Why do I want hardship? But they don't understand. And yes, in one hand, Dharma practice is hard, but some ways, at the same time, it is not really hard because you get so much benefit from it. And, you get lots of benefit right away, lots of benefit. I'm not saying you're going to get realization just suddenly, bang, bang, or you get enlightened so fast. But what I'm saying is every time when you practice Dharma, you get benefit. It's not like walking on the hills. Every step you go up higher and higher, getting closer to the summit. Like that, when you sit down, meditate, do mindfulness breathing meditation or Tonglen practice, and all mantra recitations, Guru Yoga, Vajrasattva practice, prostration, mandala offering, whatever you do, you always create merit. And you feel your heart is blessed. You feel more relaxed and happier. You feel, if you do it, you know. But we don't do a lot of things times, unfortunately. We're distracted, right? So this is a problem. That's indeed Papa Kashuti. Jasichimu Shivala within the Sono, and you gave me Papa to the Pena Shimbad and Nyabaya to something. Dukali Shujavi or Yasimia, Shingamoya. The names and another church against the Dukali Jawas. Dukali Jagin, Pain Shivinguri. Kalenya Majawala, the Chur Lamsan Lavatin, Ruya Menua, Raja Tombasha to it, Lurukawaji and Kajan Ramison Tosaro. Not easy because the Buddha himself sat under the Bodhi tree for 6 years. Not only that, for 3 great kalpas, Buddha meditated and accumulated merit. Not an easy one, not easy, but it is very important. Not only just myself to getting some realization, but it's a good example for other people if you meditate and practice Dharma. Okay, so I will now move on, go to the next verse 11. Rangasimla Dunga Chimis and Niba Shinju Simdu. Simju Dubai, Langan Sonjana, Koi, Tan Dongaman, Rang the Lungs. Rang the similar Dongachung, Nibai, Neighbor Hinge, Simju Dubai, Langan Sonjana, Koi, Tan Dongaman, Rang Lungs. So, verse 11 here. The depressed and forlorn, when we feel mental anguish, this is the wheel of sharp weapon turning full cycle upon us from wrong we have done. Till now we have deeply disturbed the mind of others. Hereafter, let's take on this suffering ourselves. And this is I'll go to the commentary right away. When we have mental problems, they certainly arise because we have disturbed the mind of others, such as our guru, parents, fellow practitioners, and so forth, now determined to take all these sufferings upon ourselves, again, make requests to our gurus and meditation on deity. The training the mind, we never see the fault in ourselves as having source in other beings. We see them as a being caused by the self. Instead of blaming others, we should generate thoughts of greater kindness for all beings. All the sufferings of the body-mind result from having previously disturbed the body and mind of others, and from breaking any precepts that we have taken. We think about this teaching, we can't but benefit the mind. Okay, so I will now give a commentary here. So now, so we have now talking about the mental. Previously, verse 10 is about suffering, physical suffering. This is the mental suffering. So mentally we suffer because we have delusion, we have ignorance, we have attachment, we have anger, we have all kinds of mental defilements, right? Because this we are suffering. And we also have committed unwholesome karmas. We disturb minds of other people in the past, and due to our ignorance and jealousy and envy and competition, ego, and so forth. And also we disturb our own mind. So not feelings and so forth, being arrogant, being selfish, and insulting other people, and competing, and so on and so forth, blaming other people, criticizing other people, so on and so forth, yeah? But if you mentally abuse your own mind, that's also bad karma. How do people abuse their own mind? You think about it. How do you abuse your own mind? Okay? So ke sem la nasa yo sem ma ji ba yo de karishen je wa nge ma mi shen da sem la dong ta den cha do ji no ba ji kong zhu lang jiang jia ji ka da den den ma de xiu jie wei den dong ma re su da den ne re yin ma ro xiu ma ro te ma se so ke sem so ma ji ba so de di ba re wei na di ba yin de so sem ma ji ba so sem jian so ran de so sem jian kan ni ji go. So I'm not asking a question to you. You know the correct answer. So what we call in West called physical abuse, mental abuse, bullying, this and that. There's so many words of abuse. Lots of abuse, right? And so mental abuse, not only abusing other people's mind, like blaming and criticizing and bullying this and that. But we abuse our own mind due to neglecting our own mind. How? People drink alcohol and people do drugs. So you're destroying your own mind, health of mind, and indulging ourselves, right? And also, like drinking, as I don't need to explain this to you because you all know, everybody knows, this is universal. When you drink too much, you eat, and drugs, whatever, it causes many problems. Lots of children today, what they call drug-induced mental illness. Age of 18, 17, already mentally ill because they do drug too since they are 11, 12 years old. Smoking dope, drinking, doing all kinds of drugs. So mind is already confused, right? Harming your own mind. Not only developing negative attitudes, wrong views, and wrong thoughts, you see, and we cause problems to ourselves. This is why we're suffering. Due to in the past lives, we've done that sort of thing. We're doing that even now, today, continues. Oh, never mind, a little bit this, a little bit is all right, never mind. We sort of make all kinds of excuses, right? So, 근데 다 소소소소 나바 간지 그러잖아. 변행이 쉬고 이발 맛이 챙그래. 아주 바바선데 인지게 챙이 마음 챙이 샤라로 다 부지 디자인을 근데 매만다 동다만 살도 같아. 타만하고 된 태야다. 때네 참 알아 먹으시 통 Then Pugudu Kashi Loju some Jushi Dwala main to jet in the side, Loju Jugurets and a similar chatter. This was same that Jan Dawa, got in the same like the Wujera. That you are Namalat in the Jiro. That the rich one does in the Ched and the Java Shumali and the chair in Gayor. So we have caused our problem for our mind in the past life, and now we're creating problem for our mind, and then next life you can create a problem in your own mind. You can born like this. And, naturally, when you're born, you're doing kind of addictive things, destructive things for your mind. Very sad situation. So it's like vicious cycle. And like wheel of sharp weapon against running. So therefore, here in the commentary says things like harm cause problems for, here it says, disturb the mind of others, such as our gurus, parents, fellow practitioners, and so forth. Of course, if we disturb the mind of our gurus, that's bad karma. And disturb our mind of our parents, that's good karma. Disturb our mind of other people is bad karma. They all have different degrees karma, right? Some are so strong, some severe, some are not so strong. What about if you disturb the mind of like a dog or cat? Of course, they're sentient beings too. Animal, insects, you playing with insects and abusing them, and their mind is confused and suffering, body is suffering. So this goes on. And so this is about verse 11. Okay, now, so therefore, what we need to do is the most important thing is for the mind. When we are suffering our mind, then the answer is Dharma practice. Answer is meditation. Dharma practice and meditation is the medicine, the best medicine for the mind. No side effects. Lama Yeshe used to say, you come, dear friend, meditate with me, and you got nothing to lose except your delusions. Right? Lama Yeshe is a brilliant teacher. Unfortunately, he passed away. He was 47 in 1984. But anyway, he have done so much. And some lamas and teachers in short life, they've done so much. Like Jesus Christ taught only 3 years. And he's the most powerful, most famous teacher in the world. Like that. So anyway, I'm so grateful for Lama Yeshe for his sense of humor and a brilliant teacher, So he said, you got nothing to lose except your delusion. So why you don't meditate? And Dharma meditation is better than eating chocolate. And that was one of Lama Yeshe's words. And I know here are some of my friends here, Dan Cox, and here, and long-time friend and student of Lama Yeshe, and Guy Turnbull, and so on and so forth here. And you remember Lama Yeshe, brilliant, wonderful teacher. So now, so that same nazaita, same majiba, same la karshota, karshota, payali karasini, payali chore, tambi chore last jun chayama, chore nyamni chenetine, dugusa wa yin yungumaro. Dindere, mangusha shuga matang, dindi chinjimaro. So this is very important. Okay, now meditate, practice even simple meditation, mindfulness, breathing, anapanasati. Then you do Guru Yoga, practice, Vajrasattva practice, and prostration, mandala offering, DT yoga, and practice, pray to Dakas and Dakinis and Dharmapala. And this is the best kind of solution, right? And especially in this time, like COVID, and we are locked down, and we're trapped, and lots of fear, people. Now we're going through the second wave, and what's going to happen this winter and the next spring? And a lot of fear, right? But a lot of us also prepared. We know now what to do, and like in March and April, and our governments are kindly. They are saying that we are prepared. We're going to do what we can do. Anyway, so now I go to the verse 12. This is wonderful. Rani Tikum Tabu Zirwana, Tom the Kuto, Sena Chebai, Langin Sonjarana Koi, and the Tikum and the Ranser Lungs. So, verse 12. When hunger or violent thirst overwhelmed us, this is the wheel of sharp weapons turning. Full circle upon us from wrong we have done. Until now we have kept what we had without sharing. We have plunged and stolen and lured people on. Hereafter, let's take from them hunger, let's take from them hunger and thirst. So it actually means their hunger and thirst taken. So this is a Lojong practice. And when we are troubled by hunger, thirst, and so forth, here, this is the wheel of sharp weapon. Here, Lama Tsongkhapa, the great Lama Tsongkhapa said, miserliness is the way to become poor, not rich. Generosity is the means to become rich, not poor. Also, the illustrator Sakya Pandita, who was born in the 12th century, wrote, the result of generosity is always richness. The result of miserliness is always poverty. This principle is consistent. Nagarjuna wrote, from generosity we derive wealth, from high status birth. Hereafter we should accept hunger happily and reform the practice. And giving and taking, we should make a request that the hunger and thirst of all beings may ripen upon ourselves, and we may give all goodness to others. Okay, so now if we're not hungry and we're not thirsty. And I am very fortunate. We got lots of food here. As I said, I grow vegetables. Most people here, you're here today. I don't think any of you are hungry and thirsty. You got food. But there are so many millions and millions of people in the world today suffering from hunger and thirst, lack of water, pure water, clean water, and suffering from malnutrition, especially children in third world country, starving and famine. Now, especially this disease, COVID came, and lots of kids can't even go to school because worrying. And not only that, lots of people lost their jobs and no money and hungry, suffering, lack of water. We don't even realize how much suffering they go through and around the world, right? Such a sad situation, right? Very, very tragic situation. And so this is also karma, and it's a collective karma, and I'm not blaming anybody, and Dharma Rakshita is not blaming anybody. This is a collective karma. We're going through all this suffering and poverty and lack of water and so forth. So he is suggesting we should do something to help, right? So here, I will read the Geshe Nawandaji's commentary. In perform, many Tibetans do this once a year for 16 days, alternating between totally fasting on one day and having only one meal on the next. When we feel overwhelmed by hunger and thirst, we engage in the practice of generosity and taking while rejoicing at our great opportunity. We should release that hunger and thirst have matured in us through the kindness of our gurus and three jewels in order to further the purpose of our Dharma practice. So we can't wipe out hunger and thirst automatically or right away, but we have to do something. What do we do? So in Buddhism, we have tradition. We follow the tradition Buddha Shakyamuni himself. Shakyamuni himself sat under the Bodhi tree for 6 years. Fasting, right? Fasting is a good one. Important. Then Dajak Mashajatova, then Loduka Wajana, low tula, Chanju Shingi, or Dumbo Walla Shinetini, the Tilna Dang, any Yunkarache, Marinde, the Tilna, Tilna, then Shindo Jiggy, Kundo Chija Cinema, Yagaki Mano, Jujuba Sidwa, Jujuba setting on the Chindo Mavajik. Then the Shindo some church, not church, which are low to look out and Shura. The Lusuji Nemanzo, Gilunzo Sota, when the Thailand, the Burma, then Gilunzo Shalat, Ningunja Chutunita, Ningun Shala Chui or Mother. Maranda Bella, Lucy or Gilunda Gitsus, Gunji Chira, and to Gunji, sir, Gunji Chira. Then a lot of the teachers of John Jabakal and Yamaji Kalaki Sagoro. Or then did it. They came to Jinsen Garisana, so Sala Kalama, Mambo Massage, and Kala de Zambuli Mission, Sayaming it, Togotumas to Pamoch and Conservate. Or the nigger Logisana, in the Chewata, some of the town. They catch him more some of them. So what are we doing here is that we follow the Buddha's tradition. Buddha himself did the fasting. In Tibetan tradition, we have a practice called Nyungne. Some of you know, of course, Nyungne. Nyungne tradition started from a nun called Gelungma Palmo, Bhikkhuni Palmo. Okay, she started this tradition. She did a Nyungne practice, fasting. She was born with some kind of body defect, like some text says she had a leprosy or something. And then she did a fasting and did a Nyungne practice, did a meditation on Chenrezig, Avalokiteshvara, and Manjushri, Singhabhadra, and so forth. And then her illness gone. And she did a fasting. So as getting out, I just commented, you do the Nyungne for 16 days. If you can't do it, say 2 weeks. If you can't do 2 weeks, 10 days, okay? And, or if you can't do 10 days, you do 1 week. So here, and I'm saying like this because in the West, we have lots of problem with the time, right? But maybe now because of COVID, everything slowed down. A lot of people don't have to work outside, they can work inside, and you do work at home. So maybe you can do Nyungne practice because you're sitting around all day and then eating lots. And then I see a lot of people are put on the weight. You walk down the street, lots of big guys walking around like this. And so this is a good time to Nyungne, so you don't eat much, and then it helps you. You don't have to eat three meals a day. So you can do Nyungne. So according to Nyungne, you 1 day no food at all. Okay. And some traditions very strict, don't even drink water. Some traditions say, yes, you can drink water. 1 day, no food, just water. And next day, you eat 1 meal a day in the middle of the day, and no breakfast, no lunch, dinner. Okay, and this food, what you eat lunch, it also has to be strictly vegetarian, and no garlic, no onions, no what we call black food, and spicy, and so anything that kind of stimulating, so on and so forth. And you eat 1 meal, okay? And do that for 10 days or 16 days. That is, then instead of eating 3 meals, that portion of the money that you have, you send it to food banks and United Way or whichever way. Give it away for people are hungry. There's food bank. We have food banks every town, right? Give it to them. So this is a very, very good solution. Good karma, don't you think? I think so. And so this is tradition. We have also, so that's a Nyungne practice. So Nyungne practice, not just fasting, you do Chenrezig practice, and do Chenrezig sadhana, Avalokiteshvara sadhana, and you do prostration at the same time. And Nyungne tradition, as I said, started by Gelungma Palmo. She was an Indian and Bhikkhuni. She started, and then tradition came to Tibet. And you don't need an initiation. You just do the Chenrezig sadhana. If you have Chenrezig, Avalokiteshvara initiation, good. If you don't have, you can still do it. Do that. And then you recite Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantra. There's another thing we do is also what we do. We take 8 Mahayana precepts, okay? We have a text, beautiful text of 8 Mahayana precepts compiled by Jabje Trijang Dorje Chang, my root guru. Okay? I received a long teaching from Sept Tulku Rinpoche. I took 8 Mahayana precepts in Bodh Gaya, in front of the Bodh Gaya stupa with Sept Rinpoche, Yungzin Rinpoche. And I was very fortunate with many, many other monks. There was 500 monks, nuns, we took on the Vesak, not Vesak, in wintertime. So 8 Mahayana precepts, you also, it's like 1 meal a day, okay? No breakfast, no lunch, just 1 meal, vegetarian meal. And it has to be vegetarian, and you can't have stimulating food, and you have to avoid singing, dancing, and worldly kind of entertainment. Stop listening music, worldly music. Stop watching TV, watching news, and don't read anything on computers. Only Dharma practice. Keep your mind always in the Dharma, and do the 8 Mahayana precepts. Take 8 Mahayana precepts, do prostrations, and again. And we do that. And usually, if you've never done this before, you can do that in front of the guru, and then you take the kind of the lineage, right? If you have done it before, what you can do is you do this in front of the statue of Shakyamuni Buddha. So if you like to do 8 Mahayana precepts, I'm very happy to offer 8 Mahayana precepts, lead 8 Mahayana precepts. We can do on Zoom. So we can set up a certain day. Has to be an auspicious day, like on the 8th day of the month, lunar month, or the 15th day of the lunar month. I will lead, and please join us. I would like to do that myself, 8 Mahayana precept, okay? And I will lead you in English. You can repeat in English. We can do also in Tibetan. So now I should say a few words in Tibetan. So that seje ngando namju seje jigora seje said that atagasa kalamasa de marwa nyungle tene dan the bejana gising oda songdo nima chiru ngala nima chila kala tema chiksa nimu kala se joge breakfast yo mar gonda kala yo mar kala chikse te shada de goba de song de meva chikse nima chila nima niba tela kala june meva chu toya da chadan to na ligita ele cha se jereze gomde che de nyune nyamne de so jereze nyamne ro te juba de jagani yore giluma pamos ni giluma chi koran chungjuga de zubu naza chi yo na zene so yo da ni nyune shada le naza bet me cha de giluma pamos jereze ki tu wa isumudo o de nyune ki choga de beche yore mala yo de inji tole ju sha yore ta de ma jene anta sa de samara de ngazo de teaching sojung len no teaching sojung le 저기 내자벨라마 저기 트리는 뭐지 땀나 자베야 부시 부죠 teaching sojung len 도 가르쳐 오세요 저게 나오는 야라 아니 근데 소 teaching sojung dom바 le 라멘드네 le 대산에네 가르쳐 왔다 저기 저저 통들 칼라스 브레이크 사야요 뭐 사야요 통야 자꾸는 되게 아니 인구절 칼라 테마틱 샤메바 종메바 고 다 인구절 군다 칼라 요마리네 자통는 되게 요래 teaching sojung 칼라 오마도 쇼트는 통초 말에 어떤 teaching sojung데 저거들이 장주 선거에 시다자 침보래 근데 지금 넘진들이 제가 teaching sojung 넘어가라 레 밑을 렌주 대가서데 세상 두상 가두지라 세바제의 용어들을 당연히 teaching sojung다는 줌 기토라 내는 야부도 상에 삼적 당고요 전화도 패러나 teaching sojung이 남기는 패러나 야부도 다보다 일인데 말하다 세바 제가 용어들을 투수상바 투수가 지기 어두시야인 투지체. So let's do 8 Mahayana precepts. It's very good. You feel very good when you do 8 Mahayana precepts. And so I will tell you, like in the Buddhist tradition, monks, the fully ordained bhikkhus and the nuns, bhikkhus, is they take, they do, like especially in Thailand and Burma, they don't eat after 12 o'clock. I was in Thailand. I was a monk there for 18 months. I joined the Thai Theravadan order. So what happens is you go in the morning for collecting alms. People give you food. You eat that, breakfast, and then you eat same food, lunch. It's kind of hard, same food in morning, eat lunchtime also. But you're a monk. You have to be simple, no complaining. And you eat breakfast and lunch. what people give it to you. And then after 12 o'clock sharp, no food at all. If you miss 12 o'clock lunch, no food until tomorrow. So the thing is, in Thailand, Burma, people know, lay people know this monk can't eat after 12 o'clock. They say if you're traveling in a train or bus, the lay people around, they run, they buy food, make sure you're fed. This monk is fed before 12 o'clock. It's a very wonderful tradition. So now reason why they don't eat afternoon, monks, nuns, because two reasons. One, to save the food for the hunger. Because lay people, lay communities supporting the monks and nuns, they have to work very hard. So why you eat so much? You're depriving the community, right? Too many monks depriving lay community. Country become poor. This is what happened in the history of Buddhism in India and also in Mongolia. And too many monks. And lay people slowly, their life is deprived and become poorer and poorer. So it's a perfect example, excuse for communism. Stalin is saying, oh, the monks are like a parasite. They, this and they, let's just destroy them and this and that. I'm not saying not good to have too many monks, but I'm just saying the way that the reality was that. So that's why you don't eat after lunch in Thailand, Burma. And that's one reason. The other reason is when you don't eat lunch or, you don't eat food in the evening, then you have more energy. Your mind is more awake and you can meditate. If your belly is full, how can you meditate? Especially evening, end of the day, you're already tired. Then you eat meal and then try to meditate. No, you can't meditate. You're trying to do sadhanas, visualization? No. Your mind is already foggy and you can't. And you're tired, right? This is why I know my own experience being in Thailand, evening, no food, right? You can drink tea, no problem, green tea or black tea. And some monks, they drink, young monks, boy monks, they drink Coca-Cola. And but you're not allowed to drink milk or yogurt and, and milkshakes and fruities and fruit juice and this and that. You're not allowed to. Otherwise, there's no limit, boundaries. So, you are awake, more energy. I can meditate more, better meditation, better for study. This is why practice kind of what do you call the right consumption, right action, right have a right motivation. So that was verse 12, right? So verse 12, it says, why we are hungry and thirsty and no food? Because in the past we deprived other people's food. Maybe we steal or taking away and so on and so forth. So we love sharp weapons turning. Now, verse 13 is when we hear only language that is full and abusive, that is the will of sharp weapons, turning full circle upon us from wrong we have done. Until now we have said many things without thinking. We have slandered and caused many friendships to end. Hereafter, let's ensure all thoughtless remarks. Okay. That is yewa kasa tande wa me hinjo horshin narvechi melanda yitundu koi lengen sonjara na koi tanda luso hinjo tondu kol ta wa me hinjo horshin narvechi ta so tsendela wa me ra me be shingi karso ta cheo so na jitindi jongso na kangi che jabina odi ji de kare chebre sena yawa ngama tene mela danghe min chi chobu so da bang chobu so da nyam chobu so dangbache ani yomoku ndi chebe ge tene lengin chonje kholo de ran ko baresmo ndi injana da sabsab che bores anda mi shenda la ji min nyam chobu so da chobu so la be ja ja ji du dang ju yo mares sabsab chi te so la chambu che case, so verse 12 here, commentary by Geshe no, not 12, 13. When we are enslaved and dictated, only others lack any freedom, we should recognize that what is happening is not without cause. It is caused by having looked down on. So yeah, I think I don't need to read this. This is very clear. So a lot of times, now there's no, I mean, in the Western countries, what we call civilized countries, whatever, there's no slavery here in some ways. Slavery is against law, right? Long time there was slaveries in India and Tibet or China and everywhere there's slaveries. And in India and Southern Africa, people bring slaves from Africa to America and Brazil and South America. Lots of slaves, right? And they have slaves inside their own. And so due to that we are now also suffering ourselves to become kind of slaves, what I call technological slaves, and slave of modern society. And you have no freedom and you have no enjoyment in, you have to work 7 days, 5 days, 6 days a week, 5 days a week, or sometimes 7 days a week, and running around and trying to pay all the mortgages, pay bills, and just it's so much pressure, right? So then we kind of naturally become kind of like slaves. Right? We become our own slaves, and so this is a karma, right? So then what we should do is we also trying to do something good for others, trying to help others, trying to share what we have. People who are suffering lack of means, lack of income, we should share what we can do. We can create some kind of scholarship. Our center here, we have scholarship programs. We give scholarship for students who are unable to do retreat. For example, in December, we do Lamrim retreat here. We have scholarship for people, so they can do the retreat. We have system, which is actually very good. I think other Dharma centers should do the same thing in Australia and Americas and Canada. Have some scholarship program for people who can do retreat with teacher, or they can do retreat by themselves. Then you don't have to work so hard, trying to pay back and so on and so forth. That didn't Karsota, me Cheo and the Sanda Cheo, the Wala Yomari, Yama, Yoro Cheo Mumudua, indigenata, Yobo, Sosa Tisanda Zombul in Latini, Karso Truja Mambo Cheverty, Truja Mambo, your computer, the Mambo, the Laka Mambo Shivichene, Kashi Nimadin Lagacho, Kashi Dundajo, Kashi Nimangal, Magna Kangal Chigio Moncha. Nimotru the kitchen, then Cora Conjun, Lolo Genetic Church in Yamajan, the other Sumado. Today is Sanchik, some of that, you would test Jimota test, and on Sunday, Tushania work, then on the church all the year. Scholarships and church and church in a retreat in the Chiaga, Mangi, Mano, and Lulang, church or Rangi, Musudu, scholarships and chick, Karsota, Musan, and Tigio, or digging, I would do something there, church and that's all, Nana. I would do some of them. So it's my suggestion. Other centers should do the same thing. Now, verse 14. Mini, see that never Joanna, Tamala, Zongak, Noi. So, verse 14 here. When we have only language that is, did I read that already? Yeah, I think I already read that one. Yeah, I missed actually verse 13 and read 14. So, verse 13, when we lack any freedom, but must obey others, this is the will of sharp weapons, turning full circle. And from now until lockdown upon those who merely anyway, I don't need to read this now. I already explained in verse 14 too. When you hear unpleasant words, people saying rumors and saying negative things, bad things about for myself, then this is also a result of past life karma, turning the wheel of sharp weapon, and it's due to a result of my own gossip, slander in the past for other people. So this is turning the wheel of sharp weapon. So it says, now from now on we should observe, should look into the disadvantage of the gossip, slander, and harsh speech and unwholesome speech. So basically, it's simple. It's like one should practice mindfulness of speech, mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of mind, mindfulness of speech. Always practice speech. Think about it. And it's hard to do. I found it hard also. When I'm talking and teaching, sometimes, I should not have said that. I have to be try to be correct. And we have an old proverb in Tibet, says, before you talk, you think twice. Before you eat, you should chew twice. Before you swallow, you should chew it twice. Before you talk, say something, you should think twice. Then this is complicated. Selas, chashin chashi sauce, chew, those kajim, so and me what down, my jumidam, so much of jumid and me one is come out, Kasa, Kala, Gaya, in Euro, Sela, chashin chashi sauce. Down like yishi shit. I get if I should yishi said, some of them in the shit, when you might do my years ago. So this is a Tibetan proverb. It's a Kamba province, East Tibet dialect, and a little bit funny one. Anyway, we have lots of proverbs in the old days. Now the young people don't know proverbs. Nobody uses proverbs. Actually, there is a book of old Tibetan proverbs written by a famous scholar called Ketsun Zangpo. And he was a great Nyingma, a master scholar. He lived in Japan for many years. He taught at Nagoya University. And he was also interesting things. He was also a disciple of Gebje Pavunga Dechen Nyingma. Ketsun Zangpo, which he passed away now. He wrote a beautiful, brilliant book on Tibetan proverbs. I have that book, and I love that book. And so when I was growing up in Tibet, my grandfather and my father and all mothers, they all used lots of proverbs. The proverbs are kind of like a poem, but they're also very profound. There are lots of insight and wonderful. So I will leave it here now. It's we got 5 minutes, but today Evan is not here, and he will be back. And I'm not sure how to do these questions. Click on questions, and I'm not sure what to do. So if there is any way you can send me questions in front of me, I can answer the questions. Otherwise, I can't answer that question for you. So we got we've got only 4 minutes now. And so that's good. I think that's good for now. So please do Lojong practice, and I'll be here next Sunday. We do church practice on Thursdays, and then we have Lamrim retreat starting on November 29th until December 13th. Okay, so that's all for today, and thank you so much. Dinda kasa za purula the kyo tandrawa kyo chi. Shuma ya za nyamala tanda lojong dinama mutu ni tigi and to che kusula tene yabanana no naro na. So everybody please take care of yourselves. I wish you all the best. Lots of blessings and lots of love to you, and take care of yourselves. And we are very fortunate because we have Dharma in our lives. Our lives very rich. We have lots of opportunity to practice loving kindness, compassion, Lojong, Tunglen practice for others, for people around the world, and all sentient beings. Thank you very much. Take care. Lots of love. Many blessings.